What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. Today we're talking the June 22nd, 2024 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. Megan Morant and Scott Stanford start the show, running down the biggest headlines from Friday's excellent edition of SmackDown. My full audio review available now here on the channel. Check it out. They replay Carmelo Hayes beating Orton in Tama Tonga in a triple threat to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, as well as Andrade beating Grayson Waller and Kevin Owens in the other men's Money in the Bank qualifying matchup. We then hear from Carmelo Hayes backstage with Kayla Braxton, more on her a little bit later. He questions if he's the new legend killer, having beaten Randy Orton in that triple threat on Friday. He just says that he's not surprised he's in Money in the Bank as he's so good at what he does. That was pretty much the general gist of what he said. They replay Logan Paul attacking LA Knight before their men's Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat next week. They preview that matchup. They preview the men's Money in the Bank ladder matchup itself after Andrade and Carmelo and Jey Uso qualified, before hyping the aforementioned triple threat for next week. Logan Paul, LA Knight, and Santos Escobar in a men's Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat match. We hear from LA Knight afterward, from backstage with Byron Saxton. LA Knight said that Logan Paul attacking him was step one. He has no issue with it because it was merely step one. The next step is taking that United States Championship. Had to get him to work before he can beat him for that belt. And he will lay him out next week and qualify, I guess, for Money in the Bank, which he intends to cash in on Logan Paul to win the championship. Why do that when you can just beat Logan Paul straight up for the title? And he says that Logan Paul can either get beat up or sat down, and he'll find out next week. So they preview again the triple threat for next week. Scott Stanford says that it's anyone's match. You can't count out Santos, which is exactly why I think he's going to win. I think Logan Paul, LA Knight cancel each other out, and Santos Escobar advances to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. They replay the CM Punk promo that started the show, Drew McIntyre attacking him, really, really good angle. Scott Stanford questions the importance of the CM Punk bracelet that Drew McIntyre took off of Punk's wrist, which I believe said AJ Lee and Larry on it. Larry's his dog. So if that means we're going to get an AJ Lee cameo or a mention or another, Punk has mentioned AJ on Raw before, but as far as her coming to Punk's aid and confronting Drew in coming weeks, kind of the same way Beth Phoenix came to Edge's aid on Raw a number of years ago during his feud with Randy Orton on Raw. So I feel like that would be cool. That would be awesome. If we can get an AJ Lee cameo on Raw in lieu of Punk, who's out, injured again or whatever, that would be sick. So that kind of made me think that might be where they're going with it if they paid attention to the bracelet, which I don't know if they really acknowledged on SmackDown itself. But the fact they acknowledged it here, to me, is definitely a positive sign. They replay the Chelsea Green, Michin, Bianca Belair triple threat, Chelsea Green winning and qualifying for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We hear from Byron Saxton and Chelsea Green backstage afterward, and Chelsea has Byron say Chelsea's name like Samantha Irvin would, and doesn't do it very well. Chelsea Green says that all she does is win, which isn't obviously true, but she's Chelsea, so that's what she's going to say. And she knew he was going to win that match. She had no doubt in her mind that she was winning that triple threat on SmackDown, and she will again win when it comes to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. They preview so far what we know about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Only so far advancing has been Io Sky and Chelsea Green. Next week it's going to be Candice LeRae, Jade Cargill, and Tiffany Stratton in one triple threat, and the other one's going to be Naomi, Blair Davenport, and Indy Hartwell, both qualifiers for the women's Money in the Bank. They replay the ending to the show, Jacob Fatu arriving to the aid of the Bloodline, laying out Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. Scott Stanford says that Fatu could be unstoppable even on his own, but that Roman Reigns might need to return to bring back sanity to the Bloodline. Interesting mention of Roman Reigns there. I know they mentioned him on SmackDown when Solo told Paul he's not coming back to SmackDown, and obviously he is at some point, maybe even soon. But I thought this whole thing was interesting. It was very well done. And the ending of the show I thought was great. I talked about that in my SmackDown audio review from earlier, but that Jacob Fatu arrival, they didn't really go into great detail about it here, but it was indeed amazing. Check it out if you haven't already. But pretty solid edition of SmackDown LowDown here. Hearing from Chelsea Green, Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, so some star power on the show. Do want to mention this, though. It came out yesterday, actually right after SmackDown LowDown aired on Peacock, and it drops around noon every Saturday. Kayla was on the show. She announced her departure around noon yesterday on Twitter from WWE, her pending departure. I think she said next week's her last week, so she might be on SmackDown next week, and that's it for her. And then Kayla Braxton's leaving the company. She said she's excited for her next chapter. So curious to see what she might do. But she's been with WWE now for about 8 years. From NXT to being a ring announcer, then a backstage interviewer, doing Talking Smack, everything in between. And she's done a really, really good job at all of it. Kind of like the new Renee Young in a lot of ways. And she excelled, and she'll be missed in WWE. I think she played her role very, very well whenever she was on screen, off screen, doing other stuff. Kayla's great. So excited to see what she does next post-WWE. That's going to do it, guys, for my review of the SmackDown LowDown for June 22nd, 2024. Thank you guys for checking out my review of the show. As always, I appreciate it. We should have the next review up next Saturday. Maybe. I've been busy all month, but I'm hoping to have my SmackDown LowDown review up next Saturday. So we can have the WCW review up on Sunday instead of Monday, which it will be tomorrow. Episode 3 is up tomorrow, my review of it. Episode 4, I hope the review for next Sunday might be up on Monday. Depends on what the weekend looks like. But until then, guys, have an awesome one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.